I'm the board game captain.
I'm Lynn.
And today we're going to be reviewing and showing you how to play Dicescrapers, a game published by, XV Games, and designed by Four Brains, Four Games, Game Studio. So before we get too deep into that, I want to draw attention to the fact that I am wearing the I Drink and I Game, It's What I Do t-shirt, which is one of our merch shirts. Over on our Teespring store, we have tons of shirts in lots of different colors, as well as mugs. Over on our Teespring store, if you want to get some cool gamer gear, head on over, link in the description below. Check it out. Also, if you're in a position to and would like to support the channel, you can join our Patreon, link in the description down below. Depending on what level you join, you get access to videos early, as well as behind the scenes updates, as well as the ability to request review and tutorial videos for some of your favorite classic games and access to patron-only giveaways. Again, link in the description below. So, first things I want to do, I want to give a big thank you to XV Games for sending us this copy of Dicescrapers to play with and review, film some content with. So the game is listed as 2 players, ages 10 and up, and 15 minutes. So let's start there. So 2 players, nothing much to talk about. Yeah. It's strictly 2-player game. Mm-hmm. I'm glad they didn't try to shoehorn in other player counts, though. What do you think on the 10 and up?
I think it could go a little lower, like 8. But I mean,
I'm with you on that. It's, I mean, literally,
it's just stacking dice.
Yeah, the most difficult mentally part of this game is knowing how to plus or minus 1 in its basic in the basic gameplay, right? Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I think you could go down to like a 7-year-old on this. I think that the 10 up is a little bit of an overestimate. This is
it might have been because the dice may be considered small parts.
Yeah, but a 7-year-old's not going to swallow a die. True. I mean, I could see how the more advanced... There is an advanced game in here, and I could see how that might be 10 and up. But I think for the basic game, 7 and up is fine. Mm-hmm. And the 15 minutes is pretty accurate. This is a quick game. Mm-hmm. So let's have a look at what comes in the bag. This is obviously a travel game. It's from XV Games' Bags and Games design. Games in Bags design?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said Bags and Games. It's Games and Bags. Definitely the other one.
Most of the time, there are bags in the game boxes. So you're not wrong.
Okay, so what comes in the game? So first off, I want to draw attention to the fact that the board is on the back side of the bag. That's kind of cool, and that's a pretty standard thing for their Games and Bags line. Most of them have the board on the back. You have the rules. Now, I have the same complaint that I always have with all of XV Games' Games and Bags line, which is that I always feel like the rules are definitely going to get damaged over time. Now, I imagine if you could keep them somewhere separate.
You could laminate them.
You could laminate them. You could keep them in a drawer somewhere separate, not in the bag. But keeping them in the bag, you can see they're already kind of getting flesh-shimmeled a bit. But the rules are really easy for this one. So it comes with rules in 2 languages, Italian and English. And this is a very easy set of rules to understand. So nice little diagrams on it. Fairly easy, no problems. Next, we've got the dice themselves. These are the main components you play with, because this is a dexterity sort of dice rolling and dice placement game where you have these nice, chunky wooden dice. They're gray or black with blue dots. Both of them have blue dots. I'm going to just show a couple of them here. These are my favorite component. I love the wood dice. They just feel really nice. They got rounded edges, so they roll really nice. Definitely my favorite bit of this game. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say that they're you know, the best component in the game. The
best component. Yeah, the chunky wooden dice are just something pleasurable about chunky wooden dice. I get a kick out of them. Then we've got a bunch of tiles. Now, these tiles are for the advanced mode. We're going to talk a little bit more about the advanced mode during the review portion. But for right now, that's really everything that comes in the box. So what we're going to do is we're going to head to the table. We're going to show you how you play a standard mode version of this game. We're going to play through a number of turns. I think actually we might play a whole game. This is a really quick one. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how this game feels. We're going to rate it and review it, and we're also going to discuss the advanced play, and also we've decided to discuss a house rule that we've been playing with mostly when we play this game. Okay, so here we are set up to play a standard game of Dicescrapers. So all you need to really do to set up to play is set your bag out, and your bag of course has these spaces on it for where to set up the 4 Dicescrapers. You also set out the dice, and Lynn has placed them in such a way that you can easily tell who is playing which color. I am the black dice, while Lynn is playing those gray dice over there. Now, we're going to decide who goes first. Lynn, why don't you be first player?
Okay.
And she's going to take 3 dice of each color. She's going to roll them, see what numbers she gets, and then she can select 1 die of either color and start off the first dice scraper. When placing future dice, again, I will be able to, for my first turn, play a die of either color. But if I want to play a die on top of the dice scraper that she's about to start when she decides which die to play first, I have to play one that is either the exact same number or +1 or -1. And if you -1 from a 1, it will become a 6. And if you +1 from a 6, it will become a 1. So in this case, Lynn took one of my dice to start a dice scraper there, and she started it with the number 1. So what I'm going to do is be a little bit tricksy, and I'm going to continue that with my own die and put a 6 on top of it. Oh, and then Lynn went with a 1 of her own. I'm gonna be extra tricksy. I'm gonna take her 1, and I'm gonna go start a different dice scraper with that. Oh, and then she's messing with me. So I'm gonna take the last one and start the last dice scraper with that, and then it's gonna be my turn to roll. So I'm gonna take 3 dice of each type. I'm gonna roll them out and see what we got. I'm going to grab this 3 here, and I'm going to put it on top of Lynn's 3 there. And that's in a tough spot because the bag makes that a little uneven. Oh, Lynn just gave me a point there. That's nice. Let's see. So, but she did put me in a tough spot here where I have to just sort of continue that. And I guess I will. And this is a tough stack. This dice scraper is not very stable. Okay. Oh, tricksy. Now, the 2 5s are not adjacent to any of the numbers that are out there or equal to any of the numbers out there. So I have to re-roll them until I get at least one that is adjacent. I already do. So I'm going to take this one here, and I'm going to play it on top of Lynn's 1 there. So me placing on top of that 1 there means that Lynn is going to have to place on top of that big stack there. She's got the 3. It's the only place it could go. It's a tough one. Whew, but she was able to do it. And now it is her turn to roll, because I rolled the last time. So let's see what numbers she gets, and we'll keep this going. Okay. Ooh, what are you going to do? Interesting. Ooh, careful. Oh, clever. I see where you're going there. I'm going to cap off this one here. Oh! But Lynn knocked down some of the dice scrapers. Now, if you knock down the dice scrapers through your action, you end the game and you lose. If no one knocks down the dice scrapers, if all the dice get played when you get to the end, you take a point for having the most of your color dice in a dice scraper. You take a point for having the top die in that dice scraper. And like this dice scraper here, which has 2 of my dice with 1 of Lynn's on top, every set of 2 or more of your color dice that are connected gives you a point as well, and whoever had the most points would win. And that's how you would win if someone did not knock down 1 or more of the dice scrapers. So now we're going to head back. We're going to talk about how this game plays and how it feels, and we're going to rate it and review it. Welcome back. So that was how you play a game of Dicescrapers. As you can see, there's not a huge amount of rules to this. It's a very easy game to learn. You can play this with young children. And kids like rolling dice. So, for a family weight game, that's kind of where it's at with this, I think. So, first things first. We should talk about the advanced version. So the advanced play has you shuffle up the stack of tiles, very nice tiles, by the way, which have the Dice Scrapers logo on the back, showing some of the Dice Scrapers. And when you shuffle them up, there's you deal them out. It says to deal them out onto the bag where you would normally have the Dice Scrapers. You deal 4 out onto their spots. And instead, you play the dice onto them. But they change how the game plays. So for instance, this one here, which has no square in it, and it has a little red X there with the symbol of the Dice Scrapers over there. This one means literally this space now cannot have a Dice Scraper on it. Whereas this one here, this is the opposite. This one gets 2 Dice Scraper spaces to play on, but they're right next to each other, so it's a little tough with the whole dexterity portion. It's very easy to knock down one of the other Dice Scrapers with this one. This one has a symbol that after you pick the die that goes on top, before placing it there, you roll it to a random number and then place it there. This one gives double points for having the most of your colored dice in a particular Dice Scraper. This one forces you to play 2 dice at a time when playing on top of it, though both moves must be legal. This one gives you double points for groups of dice in the Dice Scraper, and we have another no dice scraper on this one and another double Dice Scraper. All right, so I mean, the addition of the advanced version adds a lot of variety to the game that isn't there in the basic version. So I feel like this definitely improves the game, having the advanced version, because otherwise it's really very samey. What are your thoughts on the advanced mode?
I think it improves it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think I might be a little stronger on it. I said I think it improves it significantly. I'm going to stick with that. I like the variety it adds, because the basic game is, just playing the basic game starts to feel a bit samey. Also, now I've got no negatives with the production. Production is fine. I have a big negative with the way the game has you play on the back of the bag. And you, I know, have this negative too. Mm-hmm. Why don't you talk about it, since you were the one to first say it, to first address it. So
that I hate placing the dice on the bag.
Well, why?
Well, because it's uneven. You can see that, especially where the cincher thing is.
Yeah.
These are like very uneven.
Now it makes placing of the dice on the towers, the Dice Scrapers there, very treacherous. And now I was discussing this with with Marcello, the owner of XV Games, and he said he likes it that way. He likes making it treacherous, making it harder to get the Dice Scrapers fairly high while on the bag, but I have the opposite feeling. I feel like when I'm playing a stacking game, I want to be able to get them fairly high before they fall down. So this takes some of the fun out for me. So that brings us to our house rule that we've been doing. So instead of playing on the bag, we will play on a table. And we will, when we play the advanced version, we'll deal 4 tiles out onto the table and then play on the tiles on the table. And that's been our go-to way to play this. Easy house rule to do. Just don't play on the bag. Just deal 4 tiles out and play on the tiles, basically. So I found that significantly improves my feeling of the game in that regard. What about you?
Yeah, and I mean, you're more likely to play a full game. But I mean, we've still played a game where a tower fell over too. Yeah,
you're very unlikely to actually play a full game on the bag. On the bag, you're going to almost certainly have it end by someone knocking a tower over. Now, okay, yes, that is a full game, but what we mean is you don't get to the scoring portion, which the whole scoring portion is like the strategy of the game. So when you play on the back of the bag, it feels like it's just a dexterity game, and you're just playing till somebody knocks down a tower. Whereas when you're playing on the table, it's a dexterity strategy hybrid because of the point system, where that strategy is pretty much gone when you play on the back of the bag. So that's a pretty big issue. But again, a big issue that is very easily house ruled. Just don't play on the damn bag, which is how we've taken to doing it. We deal out 4 tiles and play it advanced on the table, and find that is an improvement for 2 reasons. 1, we like the advanced version better, and 2, the table makes it more stable so you can have higher towers. Which, again, we still have had games end with knocking down the towers, but we've also had far more games. Have we ever had a game on the bag actually end and get scored?
No.
Yeah. So that's a thing. Okay, any other downsides? Oh, you were saying before we started recording, you were saying that you felt this game is very much, even with the advanced version, strictly a kind of family weight game.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get that much enjoyment out of it. It's literally just rolling and stacking dice.
So, okay, I think I like it a little more than you do. But I do also think this is strictly a family weight game, and there's not actually enough in here in regard to replay value. Like, if you have a family and you have kids and they like rolling dice, I think we could recommend this to you for that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But you with adults only, you're going to get tired of this one probably
Yeah.
not, and it's not going to take too long.
No. Maybe if you make a drinking game out of it.
Maybe. Well, yeah, but if you have to make a drinking game out of it, that's not good. Now, I don't dislike this game. I don't want it to sound like I'm crapping all over it. As a family weight game, this is a fun little family weight game. Playing this with kids is really good. It's fun to roll the dice. It's fun to stack the dice. Again, I prefer it on the table than the bag, but I enjoy making the big dice, and then I get the same kind of thrill out of it that you do out of junk art for when, someone knocks down the dice tower, the dice scraper. Dice tower. Oh, that's kind of funny. But yeah, when someone knocks down the dice scraper, you get that kind of joy. I also like that if you don't knock down the dice scrapers, there is the strategic rewarding joy of having, made those strategic moves where you've taken one of your opponent's dice and placed it somewhere to keep them from playing it and things like that. Which again, playing on the bag, unfortunately, doesn't really happen. It really you're just playing until someone knocks down a tower. But playing on the table, the strategy comes out more. In trying to get the groups of dice together and trying to stop your opponent from getting the groups of dice tower, taking away some of their numbers that they're going to want, making sure to use the numbers that you want. So it is a little better in that regard. I'm pretty sure my rating is going to be higher. So first I'm going to ask, do you have anything else you want to talk about with Dicescrapers?
Not really.
All right, so I'm going to let you rate it first because I think we should end on the higher score. So you're seeming a bit quiet. I'm guessing we're middle of the road. Where are you?
You haven't let me speak yet.
Go. Well, I just said, do you have anything else to talk about? And you said nothing.
Yeah, but then I was going to rate it, and you just kept going.
You go. You go.
I'm going to give it a 5.
All right, so that's middle of the road.
Yeah.
Not bad, but not great either. Just.
Yeah, it feels like a game that would be like a little kid's favorite game, and they always ask to play it, and you're just like, fine, it doesn't take that long anyway, just...
But again, as a family weight game, would you say you could recommend it to someone with kids? Because it's easy to learn, at least?
Yeah, it's easy to learn.
Okay. Yeah, all right, so I'm more positive. I'm a little more positive. I'm going to give it a 6. The reason I give it a 6, and the 6 includes the fact that I house rule it to play it on the table. I don't usually include that, but it's such a minor difference that I don't really feel the problem putting it in my rating, because it's just the matter of being like, I'm not going to use the bag, I'm just going to play it on the tiles on the table. The advanced mode and playing it on the table make me like it enough to give it a 6, which is, I like it, but I have to be in the mood to play it. It is a positive rating, but not an amazingly high positive rating. It didn't knock my socks off. It's not a mind-blowing game. It's an okay game. It's pretty fun. I have enjoyment stacking. I have enjoyment with the strategy of choosing which dice to play. But I need to be in the mood to play Dicescrapers. So, but I still feel like I could recommend this to you if you have, like, single-digit age children in elementary school. You're trying to get them into gaming. I think this could be a good entry weight game to get kids into gaming. The problem is, like I said, if it's just you and other adults playing, there are lots of other games in XV Games line that I think you should get if it's just you and adults. Like, for instance, Wizard's Garden, which I still play fairly often. One of their older games in the line that I highly recommend for you to play with another adult. Or there's some other games, actually, we've been playing of theirs that I think I would more recommend for adults. So there you have it. So this is not a bad game. We're just not wowed by it. We're both kind of, I'm on the low end of positive and you're in the middle of the road. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns on Dicescrapers, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review and tutorial video and you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give it a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Kaptain. That's Kaptain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.